Jesus Christ, really?
Don't forget to become a member of UnrealEntGaming's Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Seth?
I already joined his Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the domino. You blew up the dominoes and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing crisis here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
Oh dear, for I had feared that something like this was unfortunately going to turn out to be the case sooner or later. But while there is still time for us to hurry and come up with a game plan that'll help buy us all a bit more time, we must hurry and do what needs to be done before this beast decides to go and take us all down as a result of his thirst for power.
As our story now continues, following the initial events of Raijin's arrival within Universe 7 and having to best our heroes in slowly being shown having to make his way towards Whis, to which it was only with Whis now being shown having to carry the third and final configuration cube that Raijin is desperately trying to get his hands on and having to use in furthering his plans, was when Goku then went on to address Vegeta on the ground by then responding, "Well, this doesn't look good, Vegeta, as we've always managed to go and find a way out of any given situation that we ended up finding ourselves within, but this time, I think that we may have went and met our match here because I haven't felt a monstrous power like this since fighting Murno, and we can't just go and back down now and have him walk right through us because if we do, then you and I are goners," Goku says. And although I'm not really sure if that demon paralyzing technique of yours is going to work on him or not, but one thing that I do know is that we'll need to go and try to fight him together because fighting him alone is bound to ensure our destruction if we do. And so now, what do you think we should go and try to do here since we're running on borrowed time, Vegeta? As I think that while he isn't looking towards our direction, we should go and get Broly and try to attack him together in order to go and see on how far we can go here, because anything other than having to combine our powers and using it against him and we'll lose, as Vegeta went on to then quickly respond, "As painful as this is to admit, your instincts are right with this one, Kakarot, and so if we're going down, then it won't be alone or without a fierce struggle in having us do what we must in order to try to stop him, and so we'll need to try and regroup with the others and coordinate now carefully, otherwise we are goners if we don't." To which moreover on the other side, as Whis was then shown quickly getting into fighting position whilst holding on to the third and final configuration cube, was when Whis went on to then quickly respond, "Well, you may go and try, but I will not allow for you to go and lay claim over this cube, especially not while I am currently within possession of it, you aren't," Whis adds, "and if waging a war against me is going to be something that you are going to be looking forward towards in attempting to try to pry it away from me, then go right ahead and be my guest because you aren't—" "Oh no, that bastard doesn't," Beast Gohan then went on to quickly rush on from behind and charging towards Raijin directly, and as I'll go and take it from here while you go and look after and help the others in the meantime, Whis. But even with Gohan's best attempts and having to be shown attacking Raijin, there was nothing that Beast Gohan was able to remotely do that even came close enough in having to affect Raijin, as Raijin then went on to quickly respond, "You pathetic child, do you truly believe that your youthful courage holds any real weight against my overwhelming power? Because it doesn't, as your naive bravery only hastens your own demise, for your efforts to go and stand against me me will also backfire, Raijin continues. No matter how hard it is that you go and try to push back against me, as I am going to savor every little moment in having to break your spirit piece by piece until the very concept of the resistance that you used to go and fight for is torn from your feeble mind, as only then will you truly be able to comprehend on what it means to lose everything, Raijin adds. But while your stubborn resistance is infuriating, I will rip that very pride that you hold so near and dear to your heart along with your bravado away from you, piece by agonizing piece, until you ultimately come to learn your lesson, Saiyan. And since you appear to be using brute strength in attempting to try and make your way into punching right through me in hopes of having any of these feeble attacks actually hurt me, Raijin continues, why don't I go and simply show you on what I mean, since you don't appear to understand and would much rather need for me to demonstrate on what exactly it is that I mean, Saiyan. As demonstrate Raijin did, because with one singular punch, as Raijin was from that point then shown having to completely break apart and shatter Gohan's cranium alongside with his jaw, was when Raijin then went on to quickly continue. And so now let this go and serve as being a painful reminder whether you go and live long enough to endure and survive this, or perish within these moments of having me go and break your face, as you were never any threat to me to begin with, and so now away with you while I have much bigger and far more important matters to go and attend to at the moment, Saiyan. But it was only within these very moments, unbeknownst to Raijin, as Broly, Goku, and Vegeta were then shown charging up their most powerful attacks behind him, was when Goku then went on to respond, "Let's hurry, Broly, and you too now, Vegeta, so let's go and blast this monster using everything that we have, but just go and wait on my signal until we are to fire." And so now steady now, easy, almost there, and right there, Goku shouts. And so now let's go and blast this monster by using everything that we have, and don't go and hold anything back while we go and blast him, you guys. And so now let's hurry and go and crush this fiend once and for all and do it together. But unfortunately for our heroes, it was only just upon with their collective attack being shown having to make contact and not affecting Raijin whatsoever, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond. And just what exactly was that supposed to be, as I was already expecting for you worms to go and attempt to try and attack me all at the same time. But since I am already well aware and had prepared for situations such as these, Raijin continues, allow for me to now go and show you Saiyan mortals on how to go and get the job done properly. To which it was only just upon with Whis now being shown having to catch Gohan from within the sky, was when Whis went on to then quickly respond, "Oh, now there, Gohan, as I will go and take care of you from here on, for I can sense that you are now no longer without a pulse, but I won't allow for this to be on how this is going to end for you. And so now please just go and try to stay with me," Whis went on to then catch Gohan by responding. Oh goodness, because had I went and known and had foreseen the depths of Raijin's strength, then perhaps I could have went and prevented such a catastrophic war here against him, and so I need for you all to please forgive me. And as your safety now rests entirely upon my shoulders now, as I vow to guard you all closely in ensuring your recovery and survival while I search desperately for any means of halting Raijin's rampage permanently in the meantime. And while I know that things don't look as though they are all too great for us from within this very moment, I just need for you all to simply hang in there and stay with me, Whis says. Which it was only then during this time, as Goku and Vegeta were then shown rapidly having to approach Raijin from behind and attacking him, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond, "Yes, there we are now, and with 3 of your strongest allies down and brought down with ease on top of it, the only ones left who stand in the way of having me reach that angel in obtaining the 3rd and final configuration cube are the 2 of you." As Whis went on to then quickly rush on over towards Broly's direction by then responding, "Oh goodness, well at least you are still alive and with us, although barely, Broly, but I must hurry and bring you all to safety while I still can, and that is simply because we will need you in the meantime, and so you cannot go and perish on us now," Whis continues, "for never did I ever go and foresee for a moment where my guidance and protection would falter so dramatically, but I will not let this this go and be the last of your days, Whis continues. As with Raijin's brutality being unparalleled, with his fury being unlike anything that we have ever encountered before since having to go back and having to wage war against my fallen brother Murno, or there must be a way around him somehow, as even in failure an angel's duty persists, as I vow to go and heal and protect you all to the best of my ability, and as you will all go and remain safe with me until I have formulated a plan on how to go and counteract his terrifying approach against us. And even though I may not be entirely sure that this is actually going to go and work out there against him, Whis adds upon having to be shown placing Gohan down next to both Beerus and Broly, and I still have to go and try, even if it ends up making the slightest bit of difference in buying us a bit of time. To which all the while back over with Vegeta and Raijin, it was only within those very moments as Raijin was shown having to grab onto one of Vegeta's punches before having to retaliate was when Raijin went on to then quickly respond, "Your stubborn refusal to acknowledge reality grows tiresome, Saiyan, so shall I further go on to enlighten you so that way you can go and see it for yourself?" Raijin questions, as the difference in our power isn't just a slight one, but it's rather staggering, infinite, and unbridgeable, and so if you still believe for your attacks to go and do any good for you and having to wear me down, then I want you to go and watch very closely, Saiyan. Raijin continues upon suddenly being shown having to uppercut Vegeta in the stomach and completely having to shatter all of his ribs, as your durability is laughably insignificant and a testament to your delusions of grandeur, while my power remains largely dormant here against you mortals, and having it go and be reserved for moments of greater significance than annihilating a pack of prideful insects like you and your little friends, Vegeta. And as you should have known better, foolish warrior, for did your arrogance truly deceive you into believing that you could withstand my wrath and thinking that I had been bluffing about what it was that I had said? And as you are utterly pathetic, and so if you wind up losing your life in the meantime, then just know that this was exactly what you and the others had coming your way, in having to forcefully go and make you see the difference in between our power in the most brutal and painful ways, Vegeta. But this doesn't end with you, Raijin continues upon, now being shown surprisingly grabbing onto Goku's neck as Goku was trying to ambush him from behind. And lastly, then there's you, Universe 7 so-called legendary Saiyan warrior who is commonly referred to as Son Goku, a man whose very nature itself cannot help but continue to lead him down the path of sorrow and destruction, Raijin adds. But just go and now take a look all around you here, Son Goku. Look how far your precious comrades have fallen in attempting to go and stand against me, only to have failed in having to do anything to actually go and make a difference in stopping me, Raijin says. And for what it's worth, Murno's incredible battle power wasn't the only thing that I had acquired after having my Dark Master's wish for his essence to go and be merged within my own, but I also just so happened to wield his battle memories as well, and because I was able to go and retain his battle memories, I am already well aware of every trick and every strategy that you will go and try to attempt to go and use here against me, which simply isn't going to work. And deep down, unlike how it was when Murno had you within his vices, this time you aren't going to be so lucky to go and make it out of this alive like how you were shown having to do with Murno, Goku. But the only difference being is that you were never my primary target to go and begin with, but instead it was that third and final configuration cube that Whis holds within his person that truly has my full and undivided attention, Saiyan. And so once I go and finally lay claim to the third and final configuration cube will be when everything will change forever, Raijin says. Because why stop in simply having to rule over one multiverse when I can go and rule over them all and expand my legion across an infinite and endless space of timelines and realities in having to conquer them all, Raijin adds. And so how exactly will you try to go and stop me when all of your reserves are out of reach, Raijin questions, because with both of the Omni Kings along with the Grand Minister out of the picture, what hope could you possibly have to actually win here, Raijin continues, because the answer to this very question is but a simple one, and that is absolutely nothing. There is nothing that you could possibly go and hope for that will stand in between us that will ultimately win you the day here against against me, and once I am to go and find out on what exactly lies beyond the other side after assembling all 3 of those configuration cubes, the final phases of my long-awaited and long-desired plan will finally at long last be completed without any resistance. As a dire and desperate Goku then went on to quickly respond, "And that's where you're wrong, because so as long as there are those of us who still are powerful enough to go and stand against you, then there will always be a way for us to try and find a way to win, even if that means in having us stake our lives on the line to go and do it. Then we will gladly go ahead and do just that, and so you don't scare me, because I have watched monsters like you come and go, and just like the rest of them, you will also go and fall alongside them too." As Raijin then went on to then quickly respond, "Oh, is that what you think is going to happen now, do you? How utterly delusional, for you mortals truly are the gods' greatest mistakes to date," Raijin adds, as the very fact that these so-called deities have went and stooped this low as to go and rely on its mortal warriors to fight and protect their sacred balance is not only laughable, but it is just disgusting. And if you truly insist that you and your allies are indeed powerful enough to withstand my wrath into thinking that you can actually beat me, then why don't I just go and take this time to further remind you on exactly why these fantasies you have in defeating me are but a pointless dream, saying, "Oh, Kakarot, we have to try and figure out of a way to blindside him, because if this continues to go the way that it is, then we aren't going to last much longer out here if he continues to go and treat us like this," Vegeta says. "And so we'll have to try and find another method to go and attack him with, because if we don't try and use something like fusion or any other counterattack to stop him in his tracks, then he'll tear us both apart, and he'll do it without breaking a sweat against us. And so hurry and try to use your instant transmission technique so that way you can go and break free and get away from him." But then it was only just before Goku was able to do so within these very moments was when Raijin was then shown having to grab onto the top of Goku's skull by then responding, "Oh no you don't, for you aren't going anywhere, and so don't even think about attempting to try to go and bypass me and aiding your friend here next to you, because you'd be wrong to go and assume that I would allow for either one of you to slip by me without having me catch on to you, and so to ensure my position, allow for me to go and put an end to your miserable struggle by putting you in your rightful place and giving you a reminder of where you mortals belong," Raijin adds. "And as you leave this world and venture on over into the afterlife, just know that other world, along with every and all other realms beyond the world of the living, will soon be destroyed after everything is dealt with." As this notion of mortal camaraderie is as revolting as it is pointless to watch take place, but it's because of your very own actions in choosing to defy me is where the source of your suffering will stem from, Raijin says. And then while you insects have went and managed to amuse me for a brief heartbeat within these very moments, I grow tired of this charade, since I didn't go and come here to test the might of your mightiest mortal warriors, but am rather here to go and erase them instead, Raijin continues. And so it is due to this very fact, for none of you could ever go and hope to try to do anything within your power that will honestly go and make a difference in this war out here against me. And since I grow tired of allowing for you insects to continue to try your best in regrouping and rounding each other up to go and attack me, no longer will I go and stand here and allow for any of that to happen, while my true calling lies directly before me in obtaining the third and final configuration cube, Saiyan. For you will go and perish in the name of failure with your face lying in the dirt where it belongs, as I am about to go and make you regret on ever attempting to go and attack me when you should have bowed. But then it was only just before Raijin even had the opportunity to go and do anything to wipe out both Goku and Vegeta was when all of a sudden both Vegeta and Goku's body were then shown having to quickly vanish, as Raijin then went on to quickly ask, "And what's this? And just where exactly do those two think that they're going? Wait, now I see, but of course." As those two didn't go and act on their own just now and having to go and attempt to try to escape me, but were rather rescued and saved by another. And if I had to go and take a guess, Raijin adds, oh, then I'd be right, for I knew that you'd go and try to attempt to make a move against me sooner or later, Whis, Raijin adds upon having to see a gigantic blast being shown having to slam right into him. But attempting to go and bypass the inevitable was a mistake that I will ensure that you pay dearly for with your blood, you angelic wretch. As Whis went on to then respond, now while I may not have all of the time in the world here to try to go and get this going, I must hurry while that demon is distracted before he is able to go and find a way to break free, for if we are to hope to stand a chance against this beast moving forward, Whis adds, then I may in fact actually have a plan that just might end up buying us the time that we need, and so let us see. As an angry Raijin was then shown being pushed back by then quickly responding, why, you rotten, pathetic little sneaky angel, I am going to make sure that you suffer slowly for ever daring to go and cross me in such a way like how you just did. Alright, now everyone wake up immediately and listen very, very carefully, for there is no room for hesitation after this, since my attack won't be strong enough to go and hold Raijin back for more than just a brief moment. And so because of this, you must quickly begin to regain your senses and rise to your feet at once, because I may not be able to go and have another chance in having to go and do this. And so I will need for you all to go and pay very close attention to what it is that I'm about to say, because we only have this one final chance left to counter Raijin's sinister plans, as our lives, this universe, and everything you cherish depend on how swiftly and effectively you go and follow my instructions, Whis continues, as there is no room for doubt or deviation here, and so I will need for you to go and follow my instructions exactly as I go and tell you, or we will end up losing everything that we have been fighting so extremely hard to protect, which is why I will need for you all to listen very closely, and I mean all of you, as I am hereby only doing this because I am left with no other choice, for I cannot risk in having to be captured with this relic on my persons, and especially with Raijin watching and listening to everything very closely. But if we go and act now while his focus is on me, then we may in fact actually be able to go and find a way to buy just enough time in figuring out of a way on how to free the Omni Kings and locate the Grand Priest. And so what I am giving you is one of the 3 configuration cubes that Raijin is desperately attempting to try and acquire, Whis adds, and if that monster is able to somehow find a way to obtain it, then the very balance of the reality as we know it will spiral into irreversible collapse and we will all be destroyed. But not only do these configuration cubes hold the power to go and affect our multiverse if Raijin were to go and somehow get his hands on all 3 of them, but they also seem to have the power to affect the Omniverse as well, Whis adds, which this in and of itself is an infinite and ever-expanding plane of existence that is home to not just our multiverse, but thousands of others, Whis adds, and if all 3 of these cubes are to be gathered and combined into one, will they only open the gateway into allowing for anyone who combined them to go and cross over into their unknown domain, Whis says. And so now to go and avoid in having him ever have the chance to go and attempt to lay claim over this cube, Whis adds, you must go and do what you can to ensure that this cube stays beyond his reach, as that alone will be enough to stall his ascension while we go and figure out on how we can go and get help in having to find and locate the Grand Minister, as well as being able to set the Omni Kings free from their imprisonment, Whis continues, as with the other remaining angel attendees all stationed by my command on behalf of the Grand Minister to guard their universes in not stepping out of their governing worlds lest they risk in having their universes be completely destroyed and taken over and wiped out by Raijin's army, we will have to go and make do with what we can in keeping that configuration cube as far away from that lunatic while I keep his attention preoccupied with me here in the meantime, as it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Dark Masters, the official Murno sequel, manga chapter number 38 special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to go as far as to address something very important with our dear viewers at the moment. As before I go and give you the following information, if you aren't already a member of Unreal's Patreon community, then you are truly missing out on so much without you even knowing, because not only is the next episode already on the page, but if you want to support all of the manga content that you see and gain access to tons of exclusives along the way that range from a variety of different things, then we do encourage for you all to become members of our Patreon community today, for we will link everything down within the description box below and pinned comment section region as well. Now, I will go as far as to say that even though I had not foreseen for such a dire and dangerous circumstance to go and present itself so early after what was just shown and having to take place here, we mustn't waste any more time and do what needs to be done in order for us to have a fighting chance at surviving against such a monster. So while I will go on to distract him long enough for the rest of you to go and figure things out and having to get that final configuration cube as far away from him that you possibly can before he catches on to what we were just shown and having to do, you do not want to go and miss out on what is about to happen coming up next. So we hope that you all enjoyed today's video. And before you leave, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up by smashing that like button on your way out, as well as also subscribing to UnrealEntGaming's channel for tons of new Dragon Ball content. So with that, we thank you all so much for watching, as we'll be seeing you all again for the next one.
Hello! Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi!
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.